Okay, so you can see this molecule. So what do you think this bond which you can see in the middle is? Yes, Alia?
Miss, it is a glycosidic bond.
It's the glycosidic bond. Okay. And what molecule is this, which is shown to you?
Miss, it's alpha glucose.
Alpha glucose, which one? The
Oh,
left one?
no, miss, it's sucrose. Actually. Sucrose, miss.
It's sucrose. So yes, you are right. It's alpha glucose, but sucrose is a combination of alpha glucose and beta fructose, right?
Yes.
So it's sucrose. Acha. What about this molecule? What does this look like?
Miss, it's a carboxylic acid.
This whole thing. Carboxylic acid group is only this one. This is a carboxylic acid group. This is a methyl group. Okay, let me use the colors. This is a carboxylic acid group. This is the methyl group. And this is the hydrocarbon chain. So what does it look like? What molecule is this?
Miss, it's a fatty acid.
It's a fatty acid. Is it a saturated fatty acid or an unsaturated fatty acid?
Miss, it has a double bond, so it's saturated fatty acid.
It doesn't have a double bond. It doesn't. In the hydrocarbon chain, it doesn't have. In the hydrocarbon chain. There is no kink in the tail. Have I done this with you? Have I done this with you? The concept of saturated versus unsaturated. I have done this, isn't it?
Yes, miss. I got confused in the double bond between the hydrocarbons and
exactly. So we can always go back and check our concepts. Let's go back and let's see the textbook over here. So textbook will show us this diagram, which is for a fatty acid saturated versus a non-saturated. Can you see the carboxylic acid group?
yes, miss, I can see.
Right? Carboxylic acid group, the hydrocarbon chain, and the methyl group. So this chain is a complete straight chain. It doesn't have a kink, whereas this chain has a kink. For example, this chain has one CH double bond, another CH double bond, and another CH double bond. So that's why, hence, this is an unsaturated fatty acid and this is a saturated fatty acid. The reason we call this fatty acid a saturated one is that we say it is saturated with hydrogen. इसके पास hydrogens ज़्यादा हैं as compared to this fatty acid. Is that clear?
Yes, miss.
Right? So let's go back to the questions, and we were here. So this is a saturated fatty acid. What does this look like? Yes.
It's a protein.
It looks like a protein. How many amino acids are there in this protein?
Miss, 2.
2 amino acids. Where is the peptide bond?
Miss, it's the CONH bond in between.
This one?
Yes, miss, this one.
This one, right? Acha. So if this is the peptide bond, then this is what? The amino group of this amino acid, right? And this is what? The R group?
Yes, miss, the R group.
And this is the constant H. So the constant part, the constant part, the constant part, and the constant part, the peptide bond and the R group, which is the variable part. And for this amino acid, of course, there's a peptide bond over here. So for this amino acid, the carboxylic acid group and the R group, the constant part, right? And the NH part also. Clear?
Yes, miss.
What about this molecule? What is this one? The one which you can see, D.
Miss, these are glucose molecule.
Only glucose?
Miss, alpha glucose.
Alpha glucose. Acha.
Miss, actually it's inverted, right? So is it cellulose, miss?
Exactly. See, oxygen lying over here. then oxygen lying over here, then oxygen lying over here, and then oxygen lying over here. Okay, a 1, 4, sorry, the glycosidic bond is over, lying over here, then it's upside down, then again it's up. So every other molecule is twisted or it's turned 180 degrees upside down. Okay, so this is cellulose. So all these molecules are actually beta glucose. And let me tell you one thing, Alia, that beta glucose is never written like this. Okay, beta glucose, this is the wrong way to write. You can either write it like this, beta glucose, or you can write it like this, beta glucose. Okay, so these are the correct ways to write. Acha. Then we move on to this. What molecule is this? This looks like a fatty acid chain, isn't it?
It's a triglyceride.
It's a triglyceride. Is it a triglyceride? I don't think so. Let's just deal it one by one. Look, this is the methyl group. This is the carboxylic end. This is the glycerol. And this is the hydrocarbon chain. So I can say that this, which you can see right now, अगर मैं इसको सिर्फ करूं तो this is one fatty acid and the glycerol molecule. This is another fatty acid with the glycerol, same glycerol molecule. ठीक है, इसमें फर्क किया कि इस fatty acid chain में एक double bond भी है, इसलिए this chain is kinked or bent and this chain is straight. ये ऊपर वाली जो है वो straight है. But then instead of the third fatty acid, what is attached to this glycerol molecule? Yes, what is this?
It's the phosphate group.
It's the phosphate group. So is this molecule a triglyceride or is it something else?
No, it's a phospholipid.
It's a phospholipid molecule. Okay, so this part of this molecule, this part, is this hydrophilic or hydrophobic?
It's hydrophilic.
And this part?
They're hydrophobic.
Hydrophobic. Okay, so phospholipids are important components of which structure of a cell?
The cell membrane.
Cell membrane, which explains why the cell membrane is partially permeable. Okay, so state the name of the bond in molecule A indicated by the arrow. What was that bond?
Glycosidic bond.
Molecule B is described as fatty acid saturated. State why molecule B is described as a saturated fatty acid.
Because it has no double bonds.
Has no double bonds. Part C, what's the answer?
It was glucose.
Beta glucose.
Beta glucose, yes.
Part D.
C.
No, D, state the letter of the molecule that could be formed during the hydrolysis of a polypeptide. C. State the letter of the molecule that forms part of the cell membranes of eukaryotic cells.
It's E.
Answer to part F, explain why molecule A and C dissolve in water, but molecule B does not dissolve in water. It's very easy. A and C dissolve in water and B doesn't. A dissolves in water, A is sucrose. C dissolves in water, C is a polypeptide, or you can say it's a protein.
They have dipoles, so they are polar.
They are dipoles and they are polar, and all polar molecules, they are attracted by other polar molecules and they are soluble in water. And what is not soluble in water? E. Yes, why is E not soluble in water? Because it is?
It's B, right?
Actually,
molecule B.
No, exactly. What was the question? It was saying, state why E and C dissolve in water, B doesn't. Achha, A and C are soluble in water and B is not soluble. Okay, so why is B not soluble?
Because it's a fatty acid and it has hydrophobic regions, non-polar.
It's non-polar. It's non-polar. So you'll actually describe it is non-polar, so it's hydrophobic, and that's why it doesn't dissolve in water. Is that clear? अब समझ आ रही है
Yes.
सारी बातें?
Yes.
Okay. This we did last time. Let's do the initial questions. शुरू वाले भी कर लेते हैं. What's the answer to this?
Miss,
अच्छा,
we didn't do him.
we didn't do this. We did this. Did we do question 3?
No, Miss, we didn't do water also yet.
अच्छा, we didn't do one. Have you done this question?
No, Miss, not this one.
Did you do it yourself?
Yes, Miss, I did this one.
So what did you, how did you make? Acha, I am now putting my screen sharing off and I'm enabling your screen sharing. So you share the answer. Okay?
So, Miss, I should draw it?
You didn't draw that. How did you solve it when you didn't draw it?
No, Miss, I mean, should I draw it on the screen, Miss?
Yes, you can
Because
draw.
I did it on a piece of paper, Miss. It's not online.
Acha, so can you draw on the screen?
Yeah, okay, Miss, I'll try.
Haan, draw it.